Hare Krishna, and a very warm welcome to each one of you. Team Pavitra thanks each one of y'all for removing your precious time on a busy Saturday evening. We welcome y'all for another exciting and enlightening session of Real to Real with His Grace, Braj Mohan Das. For the benefit of those who were not present for last time's session, let me introduce Prabhuji to y'all. He's done his BTech. Hari bol, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
He's done his BTech from IIT Mumbai and MS in quantum physics from the University of Chicago. He worked at BARC India and then decided to take residence and become a permanent monk at ISKCON. Not only that, he is a life coach and inspirational speaker, spoken at various topics and various prestige platforms NYU, TEDx, Coca Cola, Yale, and the list goes on. Prabhuji, according to me, this is a fantastic way of correlating movies to our life principles. So let me just tell you all, this is going to be a very interactive session. It's not that only Prabhuji is going to be talking. We would like each one of you all to participate, to please post your questions on the chat box. So let me just give you all a brief summary on The Peaceful Warrior. We are going to be watching this movie from a different eye. This is about this young, passionate gymnastic and athlete, Dan Millman, who has everything a youngster would fancy: amazing grades, great physique, selected in the Olympics team, girls, you name it, he has it all. And he's still not happy. He doesn't know what he wants. He meets this old anonymous man, Socrates, who questions every assumption of his about life. Few months before his dream Olympics, Dan meets with a tragic accident in which his leg is amputated, which totally shatters him. Now, Socrates' life coaching is going to make or break Dan's revised ambition. Thank you, Prabhuji, for choosing such a motivational and inspirational movie. So let's start with the famous quote from the movie. Everyone tells you what to do and what's good for you. They don't want you to find out your own answer. They want you to believe theirs. So, Prabhuji, should we say take one? Lights, camera, action. On to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuro Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Kajal, thank you very much for opening the floor and inviting me to this discussion. And I welcome all our participants today. This is a new take on the movies. This is a new take on spirituality, and usually both seem to be at loggerheads. If you go to the one, you don't go to the other, and we are trying to unify here, bring wisdom into the way the movies are made. And I was telling in the last session that the humanness and the challenges that we all face is what's portrayed in the movies, and when people connect to that, or when people connect to their fascinations, to the dreams that they have. So either the dreams that all of us tend to have about our life, or the reality that we are living in. If a movie connects to either one of them, then it's very much appreciated. And this particular movie, Peaceful Warrior, as Kajal said, is a very thought-provoking movie. I had watched it maybe 6-7 years back. One of the devotees had suggested me to watch this to understand the concept of being present in the moment. And that one that which you just asked me, Kajal, about that believing in others' versions of what is reality. It's very much the game of today's marketing, as they say that now if you keep telling a lie consistently and loudly enough, then very soon people are starting going to believe it, that this is how life should supposed to be. And almost all of us are made to believe about some axioms about life, that you are supposed to just work hard and get your goals, and so many motivational videos that we watch also speak about this, that all you got to do is just stand up and fight, as Krishna in the Gita also tells to Arjuna, that yoga attishtotishta, just stand up and take up your skilled weapons and just fight. But the trouble comes in standing up. The trouble comes in trying to find a stable platform on which I can live my life. And this is where even Dan goes through this. And one of the things that really shakes Dan in the beginning in the movie was this dialogue. Let me try to put that up next to me. Where's, yeah. Where is it? Just a minute. Okay, somehow it's not coming up. So the question that Socrates asked to Dan was that you have this goal to win the Olympic medals. If you don't get that, if you're not able to compete in that, what will be your situation? What is your next? What will you do? And this really freaks up Dan, because he had a plan, he had a goal for his life, and he had never thought that he will not be able to achieve that goal. And most of us become fixated on our goals, on the outcome of life, and not knowing that it is in the process, it is in the self development is the goal of any endeavor, not just the outcome of it. So yes, so many people around us keep telling, everyone has a experience of life, and most people try to rub their experience on others as philosophy. And one of the things that make this movie stand out is that most movies talk about willpower, trying to come back, and there are so many a number of movies, most in Bollywood, in Hollywood, that are made about it. But this movie goes deeper into the motivation. Why are you doing what you are doing? Just like in the Gita, when Arjuna was demotivated, depressed, Krishna just didn't answer or just pump him up. He tried to go to the root cause, because once you remove that noise, that clarity, that once the clarity comes, then the person can just quickly go through. Just like when you are going on the road, if you know the way, if there is clarity of the path, then you don't hesitate to move. But when you don't know where you are going, when there is no clarity, and usually like in India, when you ask 3 people for a direction, everyone gives a different way, and that's when you get confused more. And then maybe, fortunately now there is Google Maps that may give, sometimes even that messes up if you put the pin improperly. So just asking people around us who may be having some experience, but their experience may not be the true wisdom. So yes, that's a good point that Socrates makes, that everybody is telling their experience. Don't just accept that as the truth of life.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. I think this is a very nice point you said, that why you are doing what you are doing. I think most of us need to, sit back and think. It's a very commonly heard a dialogue which I hear is like, when I get what I want, I will be happy. When I accomplish something, when I get my goal, I will be happy. So, do you think that we are waiting something in our life to give us happiness? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, it was stuck a bit before, but now it's fine. Even some are saying that my screen is stuck. At this point of time, there is the flower abhishek preparations happening in the temple. So therefore, a lot of bandwidth is being eaten up. So that's why there may be some kind of lag here.
So, Prabhuji, did you hear my question?
No, it didn't come up. Come.
Sure, I'll just repeat it for you. I said that, most commonly we hear this that when I get what I want, when I accomplish something in life, when I achieve my goal, only then I will be happy. So is it that people are waiting for something to give them happiness? What do you think about this?
Yes, a very strong statement that Socrates makes, and even Dan was that's what he believed all his life, that happiness is in getting what you want, and we always keep running about getting, and the wants keep changing. Today you want something, then after two years down the line there is something that else that you want, and you keep chasing that, and this definition of happiness is a very is a definition that's not in your control, and a happiness because especially in getting, say a batsman, he may be happy if the bowler just bowls a very loose ball and then he can hit it for a six, and it's it you can, and he cannot always control the bowler, and therefore to depend on that, to depend that people will behave, situations will happen, and my abilities will get me where I want to get, is a very flimsy state of happiness. But there is another aspect to it, that there are two words in this, getting and wanting, and we focus on getting, that how can I increase my ability to get, but then if we focus on our wanting, should what should I want really in life, and can I control this aspect? I don't have control on getting aspect, but if I have control on wanting aspect, therefore there's a quote that I often use in my talks: happiness is not in getting what you like, but happiness is in liking what you get, and that's always up to you, that do you appreciate the things that are there with you, and many times that appreciation dies down very quickly, and then we run after another thing, and so that that quote, happiness is in getting what you want. Even in the last, when Dan is trying to coach his friend also had the same understanding about life, that only when I get that gold medal, only when I get there will there be happiness, and in that most of us feel that our life is a failure, we didn't achieve much, rather than being grateful, rather than cultivating the quality of appreciation in with people, with things, with our abilities. So if you focus on wanting part, can I control my mind, my inner self, to be able to want things that are in my capacity, and also want things that will be helpful for me, then that kind of mindset, that kind of paradigm will always bring us happiness, because liking aspect is something that we can choose to do. It's a choice to choose, like just like we go on Facebook and Instagram, to like a post or not, that to press that button is in our hands, and but when we post something and people should like that, that's not in our hands. Best we can do is have the best filters, best quote or something, that, but how many people will like it? And another thing aspect about getting the mental health issues are those that have everything in life, and because they have everything in their life, they are rich, they are prosperous, so they don't feel any kind of excitement if they get an increase in their salary or anything, because they already are experiencing something and they are not grateful for what they have. And because of the lack of appreciation, and when they don't get what they always are used to getting what they want, so when they don't get, they throw tantrums. I remember once one of my mentors was telling me that he had visited a family, and this family goes for a vacation, except last year, overseas. And nowadays vacation means it has to be overseas. It cannot be within the country. Somehow that has become the norm. So the father, he thought that this year I will take my children, my family, instead of in a business class, in economy, so they get to know what's economy like. And when he told her 7-year daughter that we are going to go in economy, she had already got a glimpse of economy class. It's not that comfortable. So immediately she didn't accept, and she started to throw tantrums and said, how can I travel in economy class, and I'm not going to come. And the father was quite worried about the arrogance or this entitlement feeling that this 7-year-old girl feels for her to travel in business class, and when she is not getting what she wants or what she is used to, then she can't accept. So that flexibility of the mind, that ability to see that whether economy or business, if we are together, then it's a worth journey. So yes, let's focus on our wanting rather than our getting, then we'll experience happiness.
Yes, Prabhuji, you very rightly said that we have the choice, like we can choose whether to like something or not. Even in the movie, like what I observed was Dan, he had everything going for him. He was training to the best of his ability. He had everything that was going to get him the gold in Olympics, but he didn't have. I mean, circumstances are not in our control. Like how he met with an accident. So don't. Like if you don't get what you want, you suffer. And even when we get exactly what we want, we still suffer because you can't hold on to it forever, right? And people are not able to accept that fact. They can't digest it that something, a very silly example of maybe getting old, or maybe losing your beauty, or XYZ. Like people can't accept so many facts in life. So how do we deal with that?
Yes, that's another disadvantage with this equation that we have about happiness. Happiness is getting what we want, and as Socrates rightly says in that even if you get, it won't last forever. I remember long back I had heard that Marilyn Monroe, one of the most beautiful ladies in the world, when she developed a wrinkle, she became so conscious about it that she said, from now on I am not going to come in front of the camera, because she wanted to maintain her image of what she is. And just a few days back I read about this Australian cricketer, Don Broadbent, one of the most highly appreciated, somebody who has the highest test averages. 99.94 is his average, and in the last game that he was playing, after he announced his retirement after this, he went on to play, and somehow in the second ball he was out, and till then he had this average of 100, but because he missed that, his average dropped from 100 to 99.94, and somebody who is kind of attached to that will want to continue, play a few more games, and in the drive to hold on to what we have, we continue to extend ourselves, drain ourselves. So therefore a wise person should understand the futility in this equation that we are having, that yes, if happiness is in getting what we want, what we like, but then it's not going to be there forever. Even if the person stays with you forever, the way the person or the object relates to you, say a phone, when you bought the latest phone, it was the most speediest, and everybody was looking towards it. But after 2 years, it becomes an ordinary phone, and even its capacity starts to go down, or you start to imagine that the phone is not fast anymore because there are other better phones that come out in the market. So there is a perceived indolence, there is a perceived uselessness, and also there is actually, so the object itself starts to become less capacity. So therefore, in relationships, in anything, when we think that once I achieve this one, then I will be happy, it's not going to be there, because the person is going to change, the thing is going to change. The constant thing about this world is change, and to try to hold on to the external reality that it will not change. As they say, there are two illusions in marriage before getting married. The boy thinks that the girl will never change, she'll always be like that, very submissive, and the girl thinks that the boy will change. All his nuances, all his bad habits or whatever is there, he will change, he will reply faster. And these two illusions, that the boy never changes and the girl changes in terms of course the beauty. So to hold on to something that either it will change or not change, and to try to base our equations on the external reality, is definitely a sure shot. And Krishna says in the Gita that ehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adi antavantu kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. One who is an intelligent man, he doesn't depend on external sense contact with the sense objects, and that stimulation is not the cause of his happiness, because he understands that they are the source of misery. In getting it, in getting money, there is so much anxiety in getting anything, and in maintaining something there is anxiety, and then to give up something, but even if you physically give up, it just doesn't go from our brains that I was the one who did this. So therefore all three phases, in getting, in keeping, and in letting it go, the trouble arises, because we hooked on to that thing. But as Krishna says in the Gita, that let us try to base our equation on something deeper inside.
Wow, very nice insight, Prabhuji. Very well explained. Another dialogue which really appealed to me from this movie was when Socrates tells him that people are the hardest to love. Sorry, the people that are the hardest to love are usually the ones who need it the most. Could you please throw some light on this? I mean, there are so many times which we don't understand, we don't understand why people behave the way they behave, and we don't understand how to react. I mean, normally we only react, we never respond. So if you could please throw some light on this.
Thank you. I was really this was one of the most powerful dialogues in that movie, that really shattered my perception, and I've always tried to meditate on this particular line whenever I face people that are very tough to deal with. And and the same axiom that we have about happiness is, if I am giving love to someone, they should reciprocate it back. I am giving something and I should get back. And most of our relationships are based on this, are like a business model, that I give something to get something back. And when people don't give us back what the love that we are giving, there is that scarcity mindset in us, that I am already given enough and I don't have enough, and this person is just using up me and is not reciprocating back, rather than understanding that the amount of water that or love that needs to be put in this bowl is more, because he has such a vacuum, such a emptiness, that for some people maybe just they are already over filled up to a lot, so I just give some love and it overflows, it comes back. But for some, those who are toughest to love, is because you are giving, but that giving is not sufficient, because it just either there are holes in that bucket, in that bowl, or the person has such an emptiness that it takes long time to fill that. And just the way the mother deals with the children only develop appreciation for their parents sometimes only when they have children. And it takes them maybe 30 years or 40 years to really understand what they got from their parents, how much they tolerate, because they are going through now, and when they have to give, then they understand how much I have taken and I was so ungrateful. So therefore it is about filling the bucket. And if you don't understand that not all buckets are the same, there are different people going through different issues, and therefore because of that people are tough to love, but they are the ones, because of such emptiness, they are the ones who need the most, because if they get some love, then they will not take those steps of ending their life or going into that deep psychological issues, because they are really hungry. But because of the experience that they have, or not having any kind of notion that there is love that exists outside, they often don't want to reciprocate. Either they were cheated for the emotions that they were expressed, or they were ridiculed for what they gave back. So they kind of withdraw themselves from the world. They are tough to bring out emotions. And there are some introverts and some extroverts. And extroverts are they usually show something, but they may not be really there when you need them the most. So therefore one of the languages of love is that you may not get the in the language that you have spoken love, the other person may not speak the same language. You may have given love in terms of emotions, but the other person may give love back when you actually need, when there is a difficulty in your life, then he may stand up. Recently one of our devotees, he faced a severe accident, and that time of course all the devotees went there to be with them, but none of them could stay with that person. He was almost bedridden, but one of his relatives who is his sister and his brother-in-law, they really came there and they were there for that person when he needs the most. So we may think that okay, a person should just know I am giving a gift, he should give back me the gift, but the way different people speak the language of love is different. So therefore to expect is in the same way that is coming, that I am giving and I should get from this. No, Krishna understands, God understands, and as Krishna says in the Gita 6th chapter, Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim, Krishna says in the Gita that one who has done good will never be overcome by evil. So if we have given love, if we have given genuinely help to people, then it may not be from that person, but from somewhere or other we will receive that back. But let's try to help those people that are really tough to love because they need the most. Yes, so that statement is a good meditation to have when you're interacting with people that just don't reciprocate back.
Yes, Prabhuji very rightly says that love can overcome everything. So I guess we need to love them more.
I've seen this with some of the like seniors, that there's some that just not doing anything, but they're giving them so much love, and I used to wonder, here is another person who is doing so much, but he is not kind of appreciated, given much time from him. But the other guy who he was almost at the brink of like breaking all his principles, but then he is receiving so much love. Then I understood this principle, that he needs that love to stand up. So therefore where there is the need, there a wise person gives.
I would like to ask the audience. I hope you all are enjoying this session. If anyone has any
Yes,
questions,
I would like to see from anyone wants to throw ask anything related to the movie or the concepts that we discussed.
yes, I guess probably someone has put up on chat.
You can also ask. We can unmute you and you can ask. So also put your video on, so you come in our recordings if you want to do that.
Prabhu, should I read the question?
Yeah, before anyone else raises their hand, you can read the question to me.
You're saying that Hare Krishna. In Kali Yuga, life goes on so fast and there is always something happening. What practical steps we can take to stop for a moment and think about the goal in life? Even in Krishna consciousness, it seems like we are losing track of our goals and we are doing our routine.
Uh, there is a key element of introspection, a time that we need to take out to spend time with ourselves. And of course, this is what meditation is, this is what is prayer is, this is what is chanting is. That we are spending time, quality time with God, and also quality time with ourselves. And if you are not doing that introspection, that meditation, then you just don't get what's happening outside of you. It all seems to be something superficial, something that is not proper, either in spiritual practices or in our life. And especially if we have that kind of thoughtful nature, we need to introspect, where am I going. And another thing that I recently was reflecting on was that all human beings, when they are born in childhood, we are very inquisitive. We want to learn so many things constant, like what is this. So children really like trouble the elders with asking so many questions. What is this, what is that? And somehow as we grow up, we are no more inquisitive, either about ourselves or about the world. Or if you are inquisitive, it is about the wrong things. What's the neighbor's son doing, or what is that happening? And if we can channelize that inquisitiveness, that curiosity, to learn some things that are good for us, we stop to learn as once we start to work, or once we start to earn, or we settle down in life, either married or have a good job. And when we are doing things just and not learning anything, so that learning aspect of us has to be activated. And life is a world, this time that we have to keep learning, because wisdom is unending. And the need for wisdom, to need to learn either new skills or deeper points, deeper either from scriptures or from the world, is there. And therefore we should not undermine that. And when we learn something, and when we start to see the depth in what we are doing, learn to do it better, or learn to do it something that you may have a liking. So please don't stop learning, not thinking that I already know something. Either it may be as basic as cooking. My mother is almost near the age of 60, but even till today, I don't know whether to say YouTube is a blessing or a curse. Even today, she's constantly kind of learning new recipes, of course offering to deities, but trying it on my father. But even at the age of 60, she gets some kind of newness to her when she learns something. So what to speak of all of us, that we need to we cannot undermine that need to learn, need to upgrade, either in terms of quality or in terms of variety.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Kaushik ji, does that answer your question? You could unmute and answer, please. Kaushik ji? Okay. Mohan ji has raised his hand. Mohan ji, you could please unmute yourself and speak. Thank you.
Yeah, I have unmuted. Thank you very much, first of all, for Pavitra as well as Rajmo.
You have been unmuted. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most important topic, especially.
Yes, Mohanji, please ask.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for Pavitra for conducting this program, and the coordinator Kajal Rajpal and then Brajmohan too. It's one of the most important topic, especially required for today's youth who are confused what is their goal itself is. I have basically two questions. One is based on the statement from the movie. Another is a general question because the movie focuses on, just focus on what interests you the most. Like the question, first question is before I go for the second one, uh, how to identify, okay, what is that, one is looking for, what is it one interest is. When we go for spiritual, yes, we have bigger larger goal, but day to day life, to lead a life, what is that, I'm good at it, what is that, how to identify it. That is first question. Maybe second question I'll go after answering this first.
Okay. Thank you, Mohanji. Very apt question. Yes, like any movie, this was one of the reasons why we started this Real Wisdom. They don't cover the entire part of the solution. Most movies, they're not fully aware of the solution. As like so many newspapers, they constantly are telling about the problems that are happening, but the solutions are not there, or they don't know. And the solutions is where we take help of scriptures, we take help of the wisdom from the ancient epics to know the solutions. And that's what is one of our motives also in conducting these sessions, to add that missing part in so many of the movies where they highlights one aspect, but they fail to understand that that's not it all. And just like this Dan Millman, it was trampoline, it was it was that Olympics that he was so good at. But no matter how good he was at that, he cannot do that for lifelong. He had to retire at some time. Maybe he can become a coach, and after that, you help someone else to get better at that. And so therefore, in trying to identify just based on skills as our identity won't last for long. But most of the youth even has trouble with that. And one reason obviously is that there is a assembly line of education, that you just learn everything, all kinds of things, and that too in a very superficial way, where there is no actual learning, but there is just no data collection. And what happened in this war, what happened there, rather than trying to understand the psychology that happened in the past, or the proper issues that are happening in the environment, or about maths, that how do you analyze. So the ability to think has not been taught, and everything else is being taught in today's schools. And the Gurukula, the ancient times, was one of the ways. Of course we don't have that, but to be able to know what I am good at, usually I say this, one is introspection, to really see what do I really love to do, not based on the results that it gets, but in the activity itself. That is it the activity of solving mathematics problems that gives me pleasure, or is it the grades that give me. So if we base ourselves on the externals, say the salary or other things, then very soon we will be dissatisfied with the task. But rather than that, in what activity do I feel great interest, just in doing that activity, either singing or whatever. And another aspect is that we may not, sometimes our mind may cheat us, misdirect us in making something that is very popular as your thing. that hey, you really like this, because the results, the profits overpower the process. And in those times it is best to have people or interact with people that have seen us for a long time. And first step would be our parents, to have a conversation with our parents that when I was innocent as a child, apart from just going into these kinds of just watching movies or other things, what were those natural skills, what were those things that I was inclined to. And many a times neither the parents have time to observe or have this, or we tend to ask our parents about this. And next would be obviously teachers, and next would be friends. To get an opinion, if you ask too many people, as Lord Ram says in Ramayana, to take a decision, then you will never be able to come to a conclusive decision. But to take a decision just one's own thinking is also faulty. Best is to have those people that know us properly and also have a good heart for us, to ask the proper questions to them, to will also help us, apart from seeing where am I good at. This will help us to find our path, especially in terms of our career.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for giving, especially the second caution. I was thinking when you gave the first answer that introspect and find out what is your interest. So people may take to some wrong means, and they think that that is their interest.
Yes, yes, yes.
But the second check will make sure that they will not get into the wrong means. Thank you so much. So my second question is, it is combination of maybe hypothetical or reality in between somewhere. Okay, we have identified what is my interest, and then I derived a lot of interest and great pleasure in doing it. But life is not only just one aspect. It has got many aspects: family, friends, society, personal aspects. And so if we are many times it may happen that we are engrossed in doing one thing, and we may forget other things, and we may go imbalance in not able to, because we only derive pleasure and interest in this. Most of the time we dedicate here, and we may tend to not balance other aspects of life. So you have anything to comment on this, give some insights how to balance?
Yeah, thank you, Mohanji, for asking. So this thing about being partially focused about our entire being is also at fault, and this was one of the things that even for Bhishma Dev, Duryodhana points out that you may get absorbed in with one fight and lose the understanding that there is a war going on and people can attack you from any side. So you may miss the full picture. And I had some years back read about Hrithik Roshan, that Hrithik Roshan really wanted to have a very good muscular body. So he really developed nicely. We all saw so many dance moves that he does. But very soon he developed severe back pain, because his lower body, he didn't do much workout. And because he didn't do much workout, all this heavy upper body was, the lower body was not able to take that, and especially the spine was becoming imbalanced. And that's when he had to focus on our entire being. So some of us may just get focused on one aspect of our body, say just face or just say mind, but we need to understand what is my entire being, and each aspect that I am doing, say it's family, say it's job, what is that aspect I am serving through this, and also serving myself, my being, what is that aspect that I am trying to help them. I definitely can't help them digest something, but I can help them to get food to their plate. So we need to understand that my entire being, what is my entire being, and let me not focus on one thing and forget the others. And especially like a student, he may study one chapter so well but neglect all the other chapters, not knowing the exam will be on the entire book, not just one chapter. So if we don't know, and life will test us in all different aspects, financial aspect, our mental state aspect, our relationships aspect, in all aspects we have to work, and therefore to have a and many a times when we want to do different things, one thing that happens is we have an understanding but we don't put that into practice, that I need to spend time with things that are important for me. And then many times what happens is unimportant things take priority first, say watching in this case a movie or other things. Now you spend time that, then you don't have much time for work or study or relationships. Rather than that, allot times in the day or in the week for doing the important things, say exercise or whatever, and then you tell your mind that if I have time, if I have extra time, then I will do the unimportant things. So reverse the game. Don't today I have to watch the serial, or today I have to tomorrow I have to go to Facebook or do whatever. So don't slot your unimportant things, slot your important things. So that way you will be able to balance everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just small understanding I got while I was listening to you. You can let me know whether the understanding is correct or not. We can do and devote more time in what we are good at it. That will fetch us more happiness and more satisfaction. And other things, other aspects of life, which we cannot neglect, which are necessary. At least we can do what is bare minimum necessary.
Yes.
Is that understanding?
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohanji.
Thank you, Mohanji. Yes, Prabhuji very nicely said that knowledge is not the same as wisdom. I mean, knowing something is knowledge, but actually getting down to doing it is wisdom. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nicely said.
Thank you.
We have another question. Prabhuji, can we take it?
Yeah, maybe the last question. I want to, we don't want to make these questions long.
It's from Kaushalji. Kaushalji, would you like to unmute yourself and ask Prabhuji the question? Kaushalji?
Or maybe the next one, I think Poonam has some questions if she wants to ask.
Okay. Poonamji, we can take your question too. She says, in the movie, did Socrates attract Dan to him, or was Dan subconsciously in search of Socrates? Amazing question. Thank you, Poonamji.
Every movie, keeps us guessing something, like, Bahubali, who killed why did Kattappa kill Bahubali? So this movie leaves at that point that who was really Socrates? Was his intuition that came out, because there are some references that our own intuition many times guides us, and sometimes we are not able to hear that in all the noise that happens. And intuition is the voice of Paramatma, the within, that is telling us the right steps to take, and it can be also someone external to us. So therefore there is in the Vedas this is called as Pada Pradaksha Guru, somebody who comes from outside to help us, somebody who gives us advice. And then there is a Chaitya Guru, somebody who is our intuition, the voice of Paramatma, which guides us from within. So movies are obviously they are imaginary, so there is no kind of this or that. But in the real, this movie was based on a book by Dan Millman, where he was a student at UC Berkeley. So there the Socrates was a real guy. There was a guy who was working at the gas station and used to interact with him. But to make this thing more exciting and more relatable, that we may not always find a guy, but at least let's try to derive that from inside, that intuition. So it's both.
Prabhuji, she's also asking that in our lives, does a guru find us or we get drawn to our guru?
It's like a marriage. It's like a marriage where each one only when there is the readiness, when there is that attraction, then there is that relationship. So the guru is looking for the right people who can receive this message, and then the disciple who is looking for the right person who can give him the wisdom. So just like when the seed is proper, when the seed and when the soil is proper, so the soil is like the guru and the seed is like the disciple. If the soil is barren, the seed won't sprout, and if the seed is not proper, it is burnt, then also the sprout won't come. So it's a both combination.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very well answered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Poonamji. I think Kaushalji has unmuted. We've unmuted you, Kaushalji. Would you like to ask?
Yes, Prabhuji, I just wanted to know what is the difference between free will and destiny?
Free will is the choice that we make, and destiny is the consequences that happen. Choices are in our hand, and the consequences are not in our hand. And it is not just the current choices, the current destiny, the current situation that we are in is a consequence of the previous choices that we have made. So it's not that there is no destiny. It is if you make the wrong choice, as collectively selecting the wrong person as the president or the prime minister, then the destiny is there for the next 5 years or so. Well, unless there is some active step taken, he is the guy who will be controlling many aspects of governance. So the destiny is a collective consequences that come, but it's not that there is no free will. The choice is always up to us, whether we just react to the situations that are happening, or we respond. Somebody just says something really hard, like the toughest guy to love, he'll not reciprocate back. You can react back, or you can try to understand that this person needs, and you can respond with things that will help that person. So when we make that choice, that is not just an impulse. Usually impulses are pushed by the destiny, by our previous consequences, the past karma. But if it, instead of conscious living, that's when he starts to change his destiny. And for this, a person also has to start to become aware, and that's where spirituality and meditation helps us to start to become aware that let me not be pushed by into things. Let me choose to make a step.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kaushalji. So, Prabhuji, actually, there's one last question. So, can we take this?
Yes, your request.
It's from Srinivas. And would you like to? I'm unmuting you, Prabhu. Would you like to ask?
Kajal, you'll have to unmute them.
Yes, I've unmuted you.
Srinivas, are you able to unmute, Srinivas ji?
Yes, I have. He needs to unmute. I have unmuted him.
Hello.
Yes, Srinivas ji, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I had a question,
Yeah.
Mohanji.
Yeah.
Like, being an introvert, does it affect our personal and professional life?
Every trait that's there in this world has an advantage, has a disadvantage, especially in the where you are applying that trait. So being very like being a extrovert, it's very good in making in networking, but then making a design plan, making something like a blueprint, for that you need to stop, you need to think and design something, plan something. There introvert may not be so good, extrovert may not be so good, because he is all into execution. So usually introverts are good at design, good at upkeep, trying to keep things in proper order, and extroverts are those who go out, try to execute things. And almost all business models in our life, we need to have a balance of this. And even, or if there is no partner that has to fulfill the other aspect, at least in ourselves there has to be some aspect where we go out and try to do something, especially those aspects that we like. And there is, we also need the time to sit and think that. Because unless you know what will be the best thing, just going there and cooking something, putting everything in the pot is not going to make a good meal. You have to first have understanding what will go when. So that thinking part is the introvert aspect, and the extrovert is one who goes out and does things. So if you are blessed to be an introvert, try to optimize that, like to be in those situations, be in those careers that will help you get good mileage of that. And if you are an extrovert, be in those kinds of situations, things, and especially the fields. And some of us are extrovert in some things, and some of us are introverts in extroverts in other things. So we all have, based on the field that is there. Therefore Krishna in the Gita, he speaks of this, that the field of action very much determines who should be the one who is acting. Adhishtanam karta. And if the field is not according to the your nature, your being, then you will many times take a back seat, not because you are not because you are thinking, but because you just can't act there. So many of us, we take a back seat, not because we are introspective, but because we just have gone into that and we don't have any initiative for that, nor can we really think about it. So we also need to take guard of, hey, am I in the right situation, am I choosing properly my steps. Okay.
Thank you, Manju.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Any more questions? Anybody would like to ask anything else to Prabhuji?
I think we had good enough. So
Yes.
I am a little bit eager to go and take darshan, flower dress. I am sure you are too, to come
Yes,
to the
Prabhuji.
temple.
Yes, the most awaited Pushkar Abhishek.
Yes.
Yes. Prabhuji, lastly, before we end this session, for neophytes like us, could you please suggest some basic rules for happiness? And also, do we believe that we also have a Socrates in our life? And how do we listen, or even know how to listen to that inner voice of ours?
Thank you. The first thing is, there is an equation that I always try to apply in terms of happiness. The equation of happiness is resources divided by desires. So usually we focus on resources, getting, but instead of that, if we focus on desires, in minimizing or in optimizing our desires, or matching our desires with the resources that we have, then we will find happiness. Another way to put this is, happiness is skills divided by challenges. If you have lot of skill, but that skill doesn't match the challenge that is given to you, you feel bored. Or if the challenge is too much, then you become anxious. So therefore the skills have to match with the challenges that you take, and the resources have to match with the desires, and one has to work on these four aspects resources, skills, challenges, and desires, then one will find I shouldn't say full happiness, because the internal aspect of happiness comes from connecting to God, connecting to our true nature, and this four things just help us to become what we are. In Sanskrit, it's called as Swadharma, or true nature, and with that true nature, we have that strength to connect to our deeper self, to God, and so that's one thing about happiness. Another thing about finding the guru, finding the Socrates, that can it's not that guidance is not coming, it's just that we are not open for it. And wisdom is not just taught, as the highest wisdom is definitely taught in the scriptures, in through the proper gurus, but then almost everyone, behind every event, they say, is wisdom. And when we don't see the wisdom behind every event that's happening, that's when we don't learn. So the Socrates just doesn't come as a person, he also comes as situations, and we have to be open to try to learn that. And definitely we have to seek for a Socrates who will try to help us to get that vision, to see wisdom behind events, to see love behind people, and therefore it's all the more important that we try to find a Socrates in person that can help us. And we are all, I've been fortunate to find Srila Prabhupada and his whole movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that just I was kind of became curious when I was watching these kinds of movies, but then the answers to all the questions that come up are given in the Bhagavad Gita, and so we just trying to connect the wisdom of the Gita to the challenges of life, especially when they are portrayed in the movies.
Thank you, Prabhuji, so much. It's really wonderful how you're correlating the Bhagavad Gita to practicality and to the movie, and how we could actually relate to it in such a simple way. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask any suggestions for the next movie that you all would like to discuss? Please.
Yes, you all can put it on chat box, either Hollywood or Bollywood.
Thank you, Team Pavitra. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for removing your precious time and enlightening us once again.
Thank you,
everyone
Kajal,
in the audience.
Kajal and Pavitra, for inviting me on this forum, and using this a different way to see movies and discuss Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So I guess you can all put quickly, or you can Pavitra team has a way to get their suggestions. Is Priya Mataji or our?
Yeah, we can, we can wait if they would like to suggest over here. Otherwise, if they can put up their number, we can add them to the group. And
Okay.
over there, we can take in all the suggestions.
So we can keep the Zoom active for
Yeah,
some time. I will log out,
Yes.
but we can keep the group active for some time to take suggestions, and then
So, Prabhuji, we are
announce
having
it.
very interesting Wolf of Wall Street, Munna Bhai. 2 suggestions are there.
Okay, let all come. Then I'll see which one I can handle. Hare Krishna.
Bazaar, okay. Priya, can you take the picture of all the suggestions? And also on YouTube, Neha has suggested crown. If you could take a picture, then, then I think everybody has already put up whatever they wanted to put up. Okay, they're still writing. Okay. Okay.
वो छोटा